Hey guys, it's Alexis. I am back with a brand new video. Thank you for joining me. Happy Monday. Today I am talking about useful tips and tricks to manifest a relationship scenario. I actually haven't done a video like this before, but a subscriber wrote a comment on my last video that I'm going to reference, which asked for an example about a situation from a breakup to when you're in a breakup and you're in no contact for many months. What do you do? What are the steps? What would I recommend? How would I talk to myself? Before I get into it though, I want to say a caveat about this video. This does not mean that I encourage you to write comments on this video or other videos about your situation. I do not answer actual coaching questions in videos because it's impossible to do so. Is the long and short answer. People's scenarios and why they've created the circumstances that they've created outside of themselves takes a lot of unpacking, but I am going to illustrate the appropriate mental diet for this scenario, give you tips about common questions, pitfalls, and conscious creation of relationships. And let's talk about it. Let's get into it. Okay. And I'll reference that comment and who that was. Okay. Like I always say in every video, the links for booking one-on-one coaching and one-on-one hypnosis with me are in the box below, as well as links to all of my pre-recorded hypnosis audios courses, all that stuff. If you're new to the channel or new to my videos, I am Alexis. Hello. Nice to meet you. I am a trained clinical hypnotherapist. I am also an NLP master practitioner. I've also got tons of training in neuro-linguistic programming, alternative sciences, law of attraction, which is the same as law of assumption. I've been doing this kind of work and kind of coaching for about 5 to 6 years here at Create Your Future. I've been coaching people one-on-one in all different kinds of ways for about 10 years. If you include fitness training, it's 20 years. All right. So it's been a long time. I now devote most of my time to helping people manifest and create the relationship, get engaged, get marriage, work through how to talk to themselves to create the reality that they want. Because as we all know, our thoughts are things and our thoughts create. So let's create the reality that you want with purpose, determination, and persistence. All right. So now that my blurb is all done, you guys can also see that in this video, I'm back in my office. So I loved everyone's comments too on loving my son. He didn't love bomb the last video, but he interrupted the video so cutely. Thank you, you guys. It was a really new experience for me to be in mom mode spontaneously. It was not at all planned, obviously, if you watch the video. Be in mom mode, work mode, coach mode, all at the same time. Like, I think I yelled to the nanny through the window. It all happened, but that's real life, you guys. And that's what I've manifested. That's what I wanted. All right. So let me get to that video because that was where somebody wrote this comment. That video, before anyone asks, change your reality once and for all with Alexis. It was my most recent video from this video. And there's someone, the handle is INMACULADA Hernandez 5548. I understand Hernandez. What's the rest of it? I don't have time to even think about it. Oh, cute. I see some of the other comments that came in about Logan being so cute from my lovely clients. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. I love you so much. Let me heart one of these or do something. Let me like one of these. Okay. So, funny. Because a lot of the clients that are writing in have also had success stories recently. And you guys, please write in success stories. I realized last week, like I have all these clients I talk to consistently who have been changing and evolving and growing. They've been changing and evolving and growing to new circumstances, new things, new heights. I mean, you name it right now, you guys, pregnancy, marriage, engagement, fertility, womb healing, doing all these things. If you have an experience that you want to share and that you want me to brag about in a public video, please write me it in. Okay. I'd love to talk about it. I just thought, where are all these stories? So please let me know. And if you don't want to write in a story, I get it, no problem. But I'd love to brag about those of you that want to have the video to reference. Also, as a reference to that comment I just made, all success stories, all information to clients is held highly, highly confidential. I'm like a vault. Okay. So no one ever knows anything and no one ever sees it. It's mainly for just to brag about you, for us to talk about it, to talk about what did you do, and for you to encourage other people who are in a similar or other kind of scenario to push through it. How do we do that? What do we do? And it's also for your reference, right? Because what better way when you're creating something and the doubt comes in next, if it ever comes in, it will come in, right? It always does, to reference your own video. Okay. Now that that's done, let's get to it. Okay. So her question, I'm bopping all around like usual, was thanks for the video. Logan's such a cutie. Thank you. And she asked and said, it would be great if I could make a video on how to do these things. Like I talked about manifesting in steps in that video. Manifesting in steps with example. For example, breakup to no contact. That's what this video is about as an example for many months. How should we approach this? Also, so the next question is in contact, how to move things forward, etc. I'm just going to talk about if you're in a breakup and you're in no contact, like what do we do about that, right? Now, number one, your circumstances outside of you don't matter. They're a manifestation and created of things that you've thought, beliefs that you have had, assumptions that you've had about yourself and the story of self that is therefore created the story of them, the story of you together as a we. Okay, it is that simple. Let me say it again a little slower. The outside circumstances reveal to you the story of self, the story of them, and the story of the two of you. That's all that it is. But it doesn't get to decide and determine and be a determining factor on what you're creating. I'm going to say that one more time. The outside circumstances essentially do not get to determine and have a hold on what's possible, what you can do, what you can create. It's Monday morning, you guys, 9 a.m. I think when this airs, Eastern Standard Time, right? 9 a.m. over there. So let's all wake up and remember the reality that reality is not real, especially the outer circumstances. So this means that the story of you, the story of them, the story of we that you're creating now is the place to focus on, not the outside stuff. Now, the thing about this though, okay, and I'm going to break this down into steps. Breakup to no contact for many months. If you've gone through a breakup with someone and usually, let's say that the person that was broken up with, let's use Jack and Jill just for purposes of the video so I can remember the names during the video. We got Jack and we got Jill. We got Jack and we got Jill, right? And Jill didn't want to break up, right? Jill, though, realizes that for so many months she's felt kind of insecure because Jack had been working more. Jack had been going out with his friends more. Jack, she had felt and perceived as being emotionally distant, not in tune, not together, not showing up, not doing anything for her like he once did. These are scenarios I hear a lot about, right? And Jill is almost like by the time Jack says it, Jill is like, when she realizes it later, like, oh yeah, I totally did create that because of my own personal insecurity, lack of self-esteem, and me looking to Jack so much, creating the story of him and then the story of us. Okay. So let's, from that perspective, say that Jill comes to me, right? Jill is the one that didn't want to break up really. And that she wants to get Jack back, and that Jack and she, from her perspective in the outer reality, have been in no contact. And let's say the breakup happened 12 months ago. And let's say 6 months ago, she found out about conscious creation. She's been doing affirmations. She's been doing a mental diet. She's even done meditations. Let's load it on, you guys, and say things I hear a lot. She's doing sleep training tapes. She found somebody who says, this is the only thing you need to do on YouTube. She's listening to a tape every night. And she also feels like she's doing so much and not getting anywhere, right? What do we do in this scenario? Now, Ms. Hernandez, I'm not saying that that's part of what the scenario you asked about, but I'm loading it on for the purposes of the video. Okay. And then what do we do with all this? Like, Alexis, how do I manifest him back? Number one, anything is possible, you guys. You can, of course, manifest him back. It's 100% possible. It's 200% possible because your inner reality, who you choose to be and who you choose they are and what you choose is going on perpetually with persistence and with conviction, especially who you are choosing and deciding you are, is what changes anything and everything and anyone and all things outside of you. Now, doesn't that make it much more simple? Because what I find is this: Jill usually finds this because of a breakup, or Jill finds this. There's Jacks out there, right? But like most of my clients are chicks, like I said in the last video. And women find this because they want to figure out what's going on. Why? Men find this too. Okay. But Jill finds this because she's had so many breakups. It's like the same thing on Groundhog Day. He was the same. He was this. He was that. It's always been this way, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe that's not you, but that's what I hear a lot about. Okay. So she finds this, and then she kind of overloads herself with doing a bunch of things, making things happen, buying every meditation, every hypnosis track, every course. I'm exaggerating it here. And she's maybe done coaching with so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so and et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So that's how we're kind of trained to be, is fix the problem, figure it out. Now I have this on my list as number 4, you guys, but I'm going to say it right now. You want to stop looking for a quick fix. You want to stop using thought creation, reality creation as some overnight, instantaneous kind of scenario. And doesn't that relieve the pressure? Things actually begin to manifest, and they're created instantaneously by getting out of the story of time and the story of having to have it happen, needing it to happen, being desperate, being needy. Now, the thing is this, is I don't like talking about instantaneous manifestation, because then people begin to focus on it and they're really focusing on the lack, okay? Things happen instantaneously when it's the only thoughts and the only choice and the only decision that you're thinking about. You unwire the instantaneous creation of it by all the other thoughts and all the other assumptions and things that you think outside of the simple thought that is the instantaneous thought. But you want to stop looking for a quick fix. You want to stop looking for, what do I do to make this happen? That's a human component of living in our current age. What do I do? What do I buy? How do I fix it? Essentially, how do I fix myself? Well, the thing is this, you were never the one to fix, because you were never broken. We have to actually unfix all the things that have been labeled onto you to tell you the opposite of who you truly choose to be now. Okay. So now, how do we create from breakup and no contact? Let's say, no, before I say, let's say, if this is you or any scenario that you're in, you want to decide, what do I want to have happen here? Now I can understand. I want to get back together. I want us to be together instantaneously, right away, back in a relationship. Okay. I get that. Now, if you're looking for the quickest movement possible, I wouldn't even recommend that. That might surprise you. My recommendation would be to create connection, reconciliation, communication, chats, talks, ooey gooey sexy talk, for Jack to come over and to be wooing and wooing and dining and doing stuff for Jill, and for him to then, through maybe 4 or 5 of those, be like, you know what, I made a huge mistake. Let's get back together. It was all about me. You remember I hated my job and I was so sad about me. I'm sorry that I hurt you. Can we just do this again? That's actually in the 3D reality how things play out. Okay. So along with the stop looking for quick fixes, stop getting angry at, now let's say, okay, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I'm going to dial it back to my steps here. Before you do step number 1. Now, step number 1 is define and understand who you were before, and therefore who they were. Okay. Now, as much as our circumstances don't matter, we want to use them as data and information so that, number 1, history stops repeating itself. And number 2, you can take complete accountability and get out of a victim mode on why you were broken up with. Okay. So you have to look at it kind of like, okay, so what was I questioning and doubting and wondering about me? Essentially, who was I in the relationship? How did I decide and define myself to be? And it could be something simply as this. He was never calling. He was never doing enough for me. What does that tell us about you? That means I'm not good enough. I'm not being shown up for. I'm not the one. I'm not important. I'm not this. I'm not that. Now, if you're walking around life and you just choose it no matter what, I am important. I am so magnetic. I am so amazing. I am so special. I am so valuable. I am so worthy. I am so this. I am so that. Then you will approach Jack's issue differently. You won't make it about you and then cause a breakup. Do you see what I'm saying in simple terms? Okay. So you have to understand, number 1, who were you that caused the breakup? Right? As much as we would love to blame it on Jack, it isn't Jack's fault. He is a projection and creation of your own insecurities, your own issues, and the story of you. He is a projection of the story of you that therefore creates the story of him. Okay. It's not like everyone is pushed out, like everyone is a reflection of self. That's a big misconception. That is not true. But when you are in the negative, self-deprecating story of lack of self, then you cannot, it's impossible to create the story of abundance and love and value and connection, communication, closeness, vulnerability, fun, sexy time with Jack, isn't it? The more that we're doubtful about ourselves, all you project and all everyone overhears is self-doubt coming from you, and they reiterate more of it. It becomes a feedback loop, and that feedback loop, of course, feels so real because we're not taught that reality is not real. Okay. So look at step number 1, right? Now in this, I'm going to come back to the comment that the subscriber wrote, right? I'm going to get into what's a self-talk, but that's also, let's not jump into the self-talk as a quick fix, right? The self-talk that you need to understand needs to be the opposite of what the self-talk was before. And you have to define and decide it for yourself. Okay. But yeah, so get really clear, make some lists, you guys, do self-investigating, do self-understanding. You have to learn to slow yourself down, slow your energy down, right? Be with yourself in a different way. Learn how to calibrate your mind, your body, and your nervous system to be and think and feel different. The more that you be and think and feel different, you create the assumption and the belief that you are different, and reality shifts and changes. The more that you're doing this, right? I got to do something. I got to figure it out. I got to have the appropriate mental diet. I got to make this change. What is that? It's more and more doing. Now, the more that you do, the more that you chase, the more that you hunt, the person that you want to chase you, it's going to push them away. It's how energy works. Energy, you know this, we all know this. When you are in the lack of something, you need something, you're desperate for it, you want it, you got to have it. Where does it go? Let's say it's this, I got to have you, I need you, I want you. Where do they go? They go so far away, and all you're doing is chasing. You're perpetually chasing and hunting. Now, the version of Jill that creates a whole different scenario, right? She has understood who she wants to define and decide and choose herself to be. Now, this might sound like an out there kind, it's really not an out there kind of thing. So I'm not even going to say that. But number 2 step is define, who do I choose I am now, and who do I choose they are. It's the biggest and most important thing. Define, who do I choose to be? Essentially, who am I? Right? And who do I choose they are? Now, if you want to be the person who is loved and adored and called into perpetuity in the relationship, consistently adored and loved and valued and appreciated and wanted and showered with love and affection, then we have to create that you define yourself as that. So this is how it might sound. I'm going to jump into it, right? Okay. This is how you want to talk to yourself. Okay, I realized that I created this before. I created that scenario with Jack before because of things that were going on with me. And my interpretation of what he was doing consistently over time, I allowed to affect what I was thinking about me and who I was choosing and defining myself to be. So now I am choosing and I am defining that I am so lovable. I am so adorable. I am so loved. I am so wanted, and I am so valued. And like, I'm really realizing that each and every day I am more and more able to see myself as being so valuable, so wanted, so adored, and so chosen. Like each and every day and each and every hour, I am learning and I am thinking that I am so adored. Like, isn't it true? I am so adored. There have been plenty of times in life when I have been adored and I have been loved. And even if there weren't so many times, I can choose now, because my inner reality creates my outer reality, that I am adored once and for all. I can choose and decide that I am valuable once and for all. I am wanted once and for all. I'm at the perfect place in my life. Everything is coming together for me. Now, that is a way to say it, you guys. I added a lot of words in there because that's a way that the mental diet's not talked about. The way that we often hear how to think thoughts is I am statements, which works for a percentage of people. But there are other people who who fight the I am statement, like I am rich. All they'll think is, yeah, I'm not. Okay. There's some people who think I am rich, I am rich, I am rich. It connects and we get it. Okay. If you're more of a descriptive, overthinking, inferential, we could say thinker, like you think all the things, more prone to worry, anxiety, and fear, then you got to elaborate on your mental diet to be like that example I just said. That is a small snippet of how the self-talk needs to be to define the new self, right? Just a small snippet. It's just the foundation. Now, all of my one-on-one clients know that I give them a mental diet. We do affirmations, we change it, and we adhere it, we move through it, and we change the mental diet because it has to always change, right? Because you create new thoughts, reality is created, and then we think new thoughts for reality to create, etc. Okay. But do you see how the mental diet of self was also not mad at self, not angry at self, not trying to find a belief in myself. It wasn't trying to think of something, right? Jill is not trying to berate herself and to make this happen. What's wrong with you? Blah, 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 that I hear from a lot of people. Okay. That's all of the ways of how we've been taught to talk to ourselves. And it probably began a long time ago with Jill. Let's say it's you or whatever. You're not doing this right. I have to figure it out. I'm not the one. I'm not the one. Okay. Now let's also add in something here that I hadn't thought about. Let's say that all of Jill's friends are getting married, having kids, getting engaged. Okay. And she feels like the last single gal on the planet. And that's part of the story, right? Now, instead of allowing that to create a sense of lack, she's got to be very careful and tell herself, oh no, because it's happening for them, it means that it's going to happen for me. And everybody getting married shows that it's the next thing to happen for me because I am marriage material. I am so loved. I am so adored. I am so valuable. I'm learning my self-value, my self-worth, and how valuable I am. Okay. So the thing is this. You have to define, though, what you're going to tell yourself. It can't be like this willy-nilly, whenever I think about me or about him, I'm going to flip the thought, because then no, doesn't work. You need to change the thoughts of self with persistence, consistency, all of the time, as much as you can. Now, the thing is this, is that usually, okay, what Jill is doing is she's repeating to herself all day the story of lack, right? We haven't been in contact. He's not calling. Now I'm doing affirmations, let's say, and he's still not calling. Okay. So like I said, in step number 2, define who you are and define who they are. Now, if you define who you are as lovable, valuable, worth it, unforgettable, right? Then we need to define and decide that Jack is forgiving, taking accountability, coming back. He's calling, he's texting, he's being understanding. He wants a second chance. He wants to make it up to you. He wants to make it up to me. And those are the 2 scenarios. Like, we are coming back together. Thoughts of self, thoughts of them, thoughts of we. We are coming back together. You'd have to link all these together, okay? For purposes of a video and the way that I talk about things, it's always conceptual and analogies, okay? So this is the appropriate mental diet that then you have to decide when you're going to engage in your mental diet. Okay. So let's say you're defining the new definition of self is that lovable version of you who's great at relationships, great at love, and the different definition of Jack, who is calling, accountable, forgivable, warm, friendly, compassionate, feels so sorry, saying sorry, taking accountability, and that we are getting back together. Let's say that you have those groups of thoughts and that you have that as a way you can talk to yourself. So instead of flipping to that story whenever you think about it, what I'm saying is you want to set aside times, blocks of times, creation times that you know that's when you're doing your intentions. That's when you're doing your thoughts. That's one way to go about it. Set aside times, or it's just all of the time, you guys. Okay. So it really depends on your lifestyle, how much you are engaged with work. But what I don't encourage anyone to do is just flip it. Whenever you think about them, just flip it. That's like building a fireplace without a plan, which I would never do. I have not built a fireplace, but if I did, I would have a plan about, okay, so what's the appropriate way? What's the path to success? What have other people done? You'd watch videos, YouTube videos, right, on building a fireplace. You might Google, how do I build the best DIY fireplace, right? And then you would execute building the friggin' fireplace. So you need to have a plan set aside for self-creation, defining of the self. And what this subscriber had asked is, what do you do when the fear comes up? Like they're with someone else. You want to say, oh, no, 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 and bring it back to defining and redefining who are you and who are they. If you're lovable, valuable, worthy, and you're in the perfect place and you understand who you're defining you to be, then nobody gets to be rejection, abandonment, all that stuff. This is a very precarious thing to learn how to do. Okay. But, if you stop looking for quick fixes and stop looking for how do I make this happen out of anxiety, then you're going to be much more available to yourself to commit to, okay, if my thoughts are things and my thoughts create and my reality needs to hear and be imprinted with so many thoughts to shift it and to create the reality I want, then I'm going to set aside time and I'm going to have a plan for myself. Now, I give clients plans one-on-one, depending on their schedule, depending on who I know them to be and what they can do and what we can fit in. Okay. But you want to set aside time for this instead of just like, oh yeah, I'm watching manifestation videos, and whenever I think about Jack, I flip the story. That's not going to be enough. Okay. Because the outer reality, what your mind tries to perceive as what happened before, what's going outside of you, it's always going to try to remind you like, oh yeah, Jill, remember when he said this? Or yeah, Jill, remember when your dad said this when you were 9? And this just reminds you of just how sad and pathetic you feel during love. Okay. All those things are just reminders from the subconscious of the story of you being, or Jill being rejected, abandoned, left out, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, the more that you can choose the new thoughts, the new perspective, then the subconscious hears it and it begins to feed you that information. And you no longer relate to Jack being rejection and abandonment, you see? But it takes consistency, persistency, and dedication to this. Okay. It's not like something, it's really got to be a new deciding of what is going on. New thoughts of me, new thoughts of them, and new thoughts of we. Okay. And so like she had asked, what do you do when doubts arise? Okay. Well, get used to it, right? Doubts arise for all of us. All of us have had moments in relationships, major relationship, love relationship, friendships where there is abandonment, there is rejection, there is worry, there is fear, there is doubts. Okay. It's a normal human component. So expect it. You do not need to be afraid of your thoughts, and you do not have to have every single thought appropriately thought and every single thought to think about what you want. That is nearly impossible. Okay. And that's being very hard on yourself, and you're setting yourself up for that foundation. Like every thought I think has to be appropriate, or else all the thoughts are going to manifest. Like, I don't choose that. Creation is that way. Now, if you want to choose that for yourself, then go ahead. But really, does creation even work that way? I've used this example so many times. It's like beating a dead horse. But if I sit here and I want to order food on my phone, like let's just say I wanted to do that. Or let's say, like what was I doing recently? Last night, I was on trying to do a Whole Foods order, right? And thank goodness thoughts don't create instantaneously, right? Because I was like, oh, I'm going to get this and I'm going to get that. And I'm going to get this and I'm going to get that. I put a bunch of things in the cart. Okay. I actually made an order and then I canceled it, right? So did all those things show up at my door? Absolutely not. And today I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy. I didn't need any of that. I've got plenty of stuff in the house. What was I thinking? Oh, it was just fun shopping. Okay. But do you see how not every thought creates? I was thinking thoughts. Am I going to get this? Am I going to get that? Am I going to get this? Am I going to get that? No. I'm going to get this. Babe, should we get that? It was like a whole conversation in the house of like, what am I getting? Only for me to be like, none of it. Okay. So thoughts are very similar. You don't need to think every single thought for it to happen, but you want to have enough thoughts to tip it over. And don't make this so black and white, you guys, that you have to be like Miss or Mr. super secure, super confident all of the time. No. But what you do need to have is self-love, self-lovability, and able to soothe yourself so you don't get in and you understand how to get out of the spiral of the rejection and the abandonment. And that takes understanding, self-evaluation, self-soothing, learning how to do this whole thing about being human. It's kind of a big deal. It's for a lifetime. Okay. So I intend that I have answered the question, but those are the way that I talk to myself, the way that I had Jill talk to herself about herself and about him and about the relationship. That's how you would start taking steps to go from breakup and no contact to getting back into contact, right? Defining, I am the one that is loved. I am the one that is adored. And he does love me and he does want me. And then he's forgiving, he's reconciling, he's calling. We're getting back in contact. We're coming back together. That is my foolproof plan. Now, I'm sure no one's surprised at this point, but I am not telling you to live in the end of like, oh yeah, we're already back together better than ever. We're in the best relationship. And for a lot of people, they're going to kick that out, right? The best way is to move into the creational step of communication, connection. Isn't that so much easier? That's what I would do. It seems like way, way, way big of a jump. Now, all the people out there on Reddit can say, yeah, but living in the end, right? I don't really agree with any of that, right? You want to use your thoughts. Thoughts are things. Thoughts create. You got to have new thoughts of self, new thoughts of them. You could throw in a couple about like, we're back together. Like I said, we're back together better than ever. We are having a good time, but you got to change you guys. You are the one. You're outdated. All the unlovable stuff and the insecurity and the low, blah, blah, blah stuff of self created for the breakup. So those things need to be handled and rectified in order for this to manifest and be different and be wonderful and life-giving and juicy this time. Okay. What you don't want to fall into the habit of doing is like a quick fix, like manifest him back. What's that about? Right? It's like manifesting the same situation back just to get it going, get it back. No, we want to manifest and create that dream love, dream relationship, vulnerability, connection, communication, being able to be there for someone. They're there for you. You stay together. You're moving through life's ups and downs. That's what we're here to do with the people who watch my videos. We're not here just to like manifest someone back. So you manifest him back so the whole thing happens again. Absolutely friggin' not. Who wants to spend their lifetime doing stuff like that? Definitely not me. Okay. But I love you guys so much. And I love this question. If you do have like general manifestation questions, you can put them in comments. It doesn't mean that I always answer them, but I can reference them for ideas for videos. But I'm saying again, I cannot answer your specific questions because people's actual scenarios that they're experiencing, that they're going through there's so many layers usually and things to discuss, things to talk about. I have to ask so many questions, who, what, when, where, why, and I really have to get to know you to help you manifest the thing you're wanting. Okay. But you're free to drop questions into the video comments. Okay. So that's the video. I think that's everything I wanted to talk about. So let me just say the steps again. Number one, understand and define and accept and appreciate who you were that caused the breakup. Get in touch with the part of you that was operating out of abandonment and or rejection. Okay. Number two, define who you want to be instead and define who they're going to be instead. Define who the two of you are going to be instead and stick to that story. Number three is set aside time to create and to decide and to define and affirm and think that story into existence because your thoughts are things, your thoughts create, and your thoughts create your outer reality. Number four, stop looking for quick fixes, how to make this happen quicker. That's getting you all out of the appropriate thoughts of actually thinking it into existence. Whenever you want to go for, what am I doing wrong? How do I make this happen? Come back to defining and deciding and affirming the new you, the new them, and the new you. Okay. Number five, when doubts arise, get used to it. It's not that big of a deal. You don't have to be afraid of the thoughts or of yourself. You want to accept it and be like, oh yeah, this is just me being human and me having a mind and me having the human mind that's grown to think of the lack of things. Doubts are lack. So no big deal. I'm not going to be afraid of myself. Okay. And then you come back to number two, which is define and redefine who you want to be, who you want them to be, who the two of you are. And that's our master plan to success. And really rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Okay. I love you guys so much. Have a great weekend. As you can see, I'm still in a tank top. It is still like a heat wave, heat of summer where I am. I am loving it. We're going to be in the pool this weekend. I don't think we're going to go to the beach. We were there last weekend for the holiday. And enjoy, though, the weather wherever you are, you guys, and make the best of it. Celebrate yourself today and each and every day this week. This is your gently, friendly, kick in the butt reminder that your outer reality is not real. So let's get to choosing, deciding, and defining with self-love and consistency and dependability the reality you want, and then it will happen. All right. I'll see you guys in my next video. Have an awesome week. Mwah. Love you. Bye.